Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Round Robin, where we spin the wheel, chase the chaos, and see where the conversation lands. I'm your host, Tracy Preston, along with Christine Mulligan, Nina Mulligan, and of course, my husband, Todd Preston. Hey, everyone.
Hello. Bonjour, mon amis.
Hey, everybody.
Well, today, as we're recording, it is Memorial Day.
It is Memorial Day.
That's right. So we're going to take the conversation somewhere meaningful, but still very round robin. We're talking about remembrance, the traditions we inherit, the stories we keep alive, and some lesser known facts about Memorial Day that might surprise you. Let's see if I pulled out a few things you guys don't know. But with this team, that's kind of hard. All right, and of course, we still have our Woman of the Week and our round robin recommendations. Because you know we don't leave the nest without spinning all the way around. Since today is Memorial Day, I wanted to do something a little different. Not a history lecture, not a patriotic speech, and definitely not a guilt trip. I want to talk about memory. How we remember, who we remember, what traditions survive, and what gets watered down over time until people barely remember what they meant in the first place. So I'm going to go into some lesser known Memorial Day facts. Let's see if I get anybody.
Okay.
So Memorial Day was originally called Decoration Day.
I didn't know that.
You did?
I did not.
I didn't know it either.
I did. It's all propaganda to get us buying crap to be all patriotic.
Come buy your decorations. The holiday began as a day to decorate the graves of those who died in military service, especially after the Civil War. The National Cemetery Administration says it was formalized in 1868 by Grand Army of the Republic Commander John A. Logan. So there's one little less known fact. Another one is the date May 30th was not random. One long-standing explanation is that May 30th was chosen because flowers would be blooming across much of the country, making it easier for people to decorate graves.
Now that makes sense.
Because it's finally getting warm, especially up here.
Yeah, finally.
My irises are blooming. All right, there are several competing birthplace claims. So there's Waterloo, New York, Boalsburg, Pennsylvania, never heard of that, Columbus, Georgia, Columbus, Mississippi, Charleston, South Carolina, and other communities all have connections to early grave decoration traditions. That alone is a great discussion point. Memory is sometimes local, emotional, and contested. One of the most powerful early observances was led by Black Americans in Charleston in 1865. I thought this was interesting. Thousands of formerly enslaved people honored Union soldiers who had died in a Confederate prison camp. This is one of the most moving and less discussed parts of Memorial Day's origin story. And I gotta say, count me in. I'm one of those lesser known facts that I didn't know.
Yeah, me too.
The flag protocol is symbolic and many people don't know it. And again, I didn't know this either. On Memorial Day, the U.S. flag is flown half staff until noon. Did you know that? You were in the Marines.
You know, I don't recall that. I don't really remember that.
I didn't know it either.
Huh.
And then it is raised to full staff for the rest of the day. The morning honors the fallen, and the afternoon symbolizes the living nation continuing forward.
Very
It's a
interesting.
little sad, but that's what Memorial Day is about.
Yeah, and basically you could also summarize it as the coloners just trying to steal some culture from the Mexicans.
What you got? Give us some culture.
A Dia de Muerte. That's what it was about.
Really?
That's essentially what it was. We
That's true.
stole their customs for a Dia de Muerte and put it in the guise of our soldiers to decorate their tombs and celebrate them and keep them alive.
Very
But really,
interesting.
the holiday was originally invented by African Americans. They're the ones that started it. So it wasn't the white people.
Nope.
They're the ones that started it. Yeah, because they were proud to be Americans. That's silly. No, because they were remembering all their dead soldiers that fought during the Civil War.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think you should cut that whole part out, Tracy, because clearly she did not understand the story. What are you
She's
talking about? No, I did understand it, but I'm saying it's also we stole culturisms from another culture, and we actually stole it and made it Memorial Day. Yeah, we stole other people's customs then to make it Memorial. No, even when we called it Decoration Day, because we were decorating the graves of the soldiers, and then the afternoon is about everybody being alive and living, and keeping them alive, keeping their memories alive.
celebrate the dead.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's a conglomeration of all those things.
I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
And plus, I love it when you guys get sassy with one another. It's the best. I just sit here and look at Todd and I smile.
I know.
I'm like, there they go. All right, and I've got one more. There is an official national moment of remembrance. At 3 p.m. local time, Americans are asked to pause for 1 minute to honor those who died in service. And this was signed into law in 2000. I've broken the law every year. I've never stopped.
I'm pretty sure.
And I was going to stop today, but I was gardening, so that didn't happen. Sorry. All right, and when we talk about Memorial Day, one place becomes almost impossible not to picture, and that is Arlington National Cemetery. I know I've been there. Have you guys been there?
Yep. No.
I have not.
Ah,
No.
it's somber, to say the least.
I'd like to go.
It's it definitely is. It makes you pause, right? Because there are rows and rows of white headstones, which are actually crosses, and there's so many of them, and they're so perfectly aligned. It's beautiful, but it's sad. Now the tomb of the unknown soldier is there, and I absolutely got teary-eyed when I sat there and watched they do that whole. It's guarded.
Yeah.
24 hours a day, I believe. Right, Christine? It's 24 hours a day?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. The silence that's there, then the precision with the soldiers that are marching, and they do not break. And then they hand off to the next one with the salutes and all that kind of stuff. It's lovely. And you get the feeling that even if you have never been there before, you understand what it all represents. And it's quite heartbreaking that there are unknown soldiers buried there. How horrible.
Yeah.
And one of the most moving Memorial Day traditions at Arlington is called Flags In. Every year before Memorial Day, soldiers from the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, known as the Old Guard, place American flags at grave sites and columbarium niche rows throughout the cemetery. Arlington says the event itself takes place before the cemetery opens and is not public, but visitors can see the flags throughout Memorial Day weekend. Think about that for a second. Not one big flag for the whole cemetery, not one symbolic gesture from far away. A flag for each and every grave. That's a lot.
That's a lot of flags.
And a moment of recognition repeated again and again and again. And that's what makes Arlington so powerful. It turns the overwhelming number of the fallen back into individual lives. And that tomb of the unknown soldier adds another layer to that. It honors service members whose names are not known, but whose sacrifice is still recognized. The tomb is guarded by sentinels from the Old Guard, and at the tomb, flags are placed to honor the unknowns as part of the Memorial Day tradition. And I think that connects perfectly to what we are talking about today, because remembrance is not just about what we know. Sometimes remembrance is about honoring what we may never know, the full story, the full name, the full life, the family that waited, and the future that never happened. So I want to ask everybody, have you ever been somewhere, a cemetery, a memorial, a battlefield, even a museum, where the silence hit you harder than the words?
Wow, all the time for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's part of my hearing shit. And you feel the heaviness of some places.
Right. So, Todd, Arlington is so visual with the rose and ceremony and the tomb. Do you think places like that help people understand sacrifice better than words alone?
Oh, of course, I think so. Definitely. And I think being there and seeing it firsthand would be such a profound moment to really grasp the idea of how many soldiers, how many people have sacrificed. And that's not even all of them. That's not even all of the soldiers that have ever fought and lost their lives.
Right. And literally, you can spend the entire day and maybe not even get through all of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's massive. I was so excited to get there when I was there, but then I was just like, oh, wow.
Right.
When you see all of those white crosses, it just makes you really stop and think. Now, Nina, do you think public memorials help preserve memory, or do they risk becoming something people walk past without really seeing?
I don't know.
That's a hard thing without me getting too political, Tracy. Because history is always from the perspective of the victor. And so I don't tend to believe any history that's written by the person that won. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really feel like a tie or a draw to like uphold these traditions and these stories, because I'm not really sure that I believe all of them. And I feel kind of sorry. I do think obviously war is necessary when you are coming to the aid of somebody who is being oppressed by a larger faction, trying to take them over, and you're helping them as an ally.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really think war is very necessary. And I think a lot of times that it has to do with more about geopolitical interests and things of that nature, and money and commodities and goods. And to send somebody over there to die for that sort of thing under the guise of valor is sad to me. So I guess it would be a good reminder. It just matters where your perspective is coming from as to how it makes you feel.
Agreed.
Yeah, because I was listening to you talk about Arlington, and I could tell that we had different perspectives there. You were in awe and wowed at the gravity of it all with pride. You know what I mean? Like that these men gave up their lives for freedom and the whole valor thing, like Nina was talking about. When I was there, I cried because how many of those men
And women.
and women live their life in vain almost because they were fighting for something that they didn't even realize that they were fighting for. They were fighting for someone else to gain more power somewhere.
Yeah, or gain more money or gain more access.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the humanity of it all.
I mean, the Civil War, that was an understandable war. That makes sense to me from a moral perspective,
Yeah.
World War II makes total sense to me. We waited a very long time before we entered that, rightfully so. And it wasn't ours to start with, but we understood that they needed help. And I think that was courageous of us in that moment. But there's definitely a lot of wars that we didn't need to be in, didn't need to start.
Right.
And a lot of places where we don't need to be, militarily speaking, on this earth.
Right.
I feel like wars with a humanitarian base,
Right.
I'm all for them.
Right.
I'm all, you know what I mean? And I love, admire, and respect the men that fought those wars because it was about the humanity of it all.
Right.
But there's so many wars that we've had and so many people in Arlington National Cemetery that they went and fought in vain, I feel like sometimes. And I just feel bad for the loss of their lives.
Yeah, for billionaires' economical chess move.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, and right now we've got 2 wars going on, at least 2 that I'm aware of.
Yeah, and
And it's not just our government. There's plenty of other enemies of government,
Yeah.
Right.
Some of them
Power.
not government people, but, the thing is that they're all intertwined. So I'm not just saying, like, America's at fault here. There's lots of other places that are treating the people well, and the government is to blame for that. So,
Yep.
it's just the humanity of it all. I just felt really sad for the loss of all those lives.
yeah.
Right.
It's just so the gravity of all, like you said, all of those those tombstones in lockstep, rows and rows and rows as far as the eye can see. It just hits you hard of how many lives were lost.
Right.
And for what?
Yeah.
For what? Land, oil, minerals.
For things they don't benefit from.
Right.
At all. Yeah. Agreed. Now, before we move any further, I want to say this with the deepest respect to every service member who never came home, and to every family who has carried that empty chair, that folded flag, that birthday, that anniversary, that silence. We remember you, not as symbols, not as statistics, as people, as sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, friends, neighbors, and loved ones whose absence still lives in the rooms they should have walked back into. All right, now here's what I keep thinking about. Memorial Day started as people physically going into graves, bringing flowers, saying names, standing in silence. Now for a lot of people, it's the start of summer, cookouts, sales, lake weekends, and a day off work. So here's my question. Does a tradition lose its meaning when it changes, or does it survive because it changes? So Christine, when you were growing up, did your family treat Memorial Day as a solemn day, a family day, or just the beginning of summer?
Well, it's kind of an amalgamation. We all knew the stories, and my whole family were Marines, you know what I mean? So it had that connotation to it, to give stories or homage to the Marine way of life. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then it was, I grew up in a beach town, so it was also opening of summer, you know? The people that would come to the neighborhood for summer, they were usually getting there that first weekend. So it kind of was all of those things, but it was definitely a family day, a family and friends day. And to your point, I think it survives because it changes as it goes along, because each generation will have its own way of getting together. It's just a day to get together.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's how it mostly, I mean, there's tons of people in my family that have been in the military. So yeah, I mean, it's to get together, but I think it's more or less just an excuse for family to see each other more than just Easter and Christmas.
Right. Now, Todd, I think I know where you're going to go with this one, but do you think most people understand the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day?
Yes, most people do understand that difference. Certainly, me being a veteran, I know what the difference is.
How many people on Facebook get it confused?
A lot of people.
Right. They're wishing Happy Veterans Day to people on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Day of the Dead, people. Day of the Dead. Las Muertes. Is that how you say it, Christine?
Yes.
And Nina, do you think younger generations need more context around days like this, or do you think every generation rediscovers meaning in its own way?
Gosh, I don't know. I guess I'm so far removed from like what they're teaching in schools now. I don't know if they make Memorial Day a big deal anymore. So I don't really know if like the traditional sense of it will continue on. I think it'll probably end up shifting into something else and take on maybe a deeper meaning as time goes on. But I think it'll always just be, at least if nothing else, a day for Americans to come together with their friends and family and have a day off work, because Lord knows we need it.
That's right. We don't get enough of them off.
No, we do.
Well, I think, as more of the older generation passes, I think we lose that big generational pull for it, right? Because our grandparents, well, maybe not now anyway, but World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, all those folks are getting pretty old. Like, we've been fortunate. We haven't had a big war in a long time.
And I think it was more meaningful for people in the World War II era, because the whole country really, I mean, we were attacked, obviously, Pearl Harbor, and then we decided to jump in it, and we were caught off guard, and it was the first time that we had ever been caught off guard like that. So it was a real blow to our ego.
Right.
And entire country got in on it. It was almost like a 9/11, you know, even though Americans will fight with each other, I think 9/11 was like, hey, I can call you an asshole, but nobody else can come in my backyard and call you an asshole. And I think we kind of came together as Americans for a little bit, and we saw a great cultural shift in that respect too. And so I think because there's been no tangible way for the common layperson to interact in a wartime, it is not as meaningful, because we're not out there riveting ships together and building bombs while the boys are overseas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All
Right.
that stuff's done by computers and drones and people in bases and other places.
Yeah, what do they call those rivet?
Rosie the Riveter.
Rosie the Riveters. That's right. We all jumped in. I'm saying we
Yeah.
as if I was a part of it, but women played a huge role because the men were off.
But we're not hands-on and more like that as a society anymore. We watch it through our television or we watch it through our phones, and it's happening somewhere else, but it ain't happening to us. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Right.
we're too far removed for us to really make Memorial Day feel like something in a
Right.
younger generation's perspective.
Good point. I agree. No, not every memory is carved into stone. Sometimes memory is a recipe, a song, a weird family saying, a photo in a drawer, a flag folded in a closet, a cemetery visit, a story someone tells every year, even if everyone has heard it before. Now, what is one of the family traditions you hope never disappear? Anybody? I don't think I had any in my family.
Not for
Look,
long.
I like a good hot dog.
Yeah.
I don't like them all the time, but I like them on Memorial Day, Labor Day, and 4th of July. So those are the things I want to keep.
All
Just
beef.
give me a hot dog to make it extra charred up, you know, and we're good to go.
That's true. And it better be all beef. I can't eat that other shit.
Yeah.
Gross. What is something small that reminds you of someone who is gone? I always think of my dad, and my dad was a Navy man. Tomatoes and corn.
Tomatoes and corn.
Tomatoes and corn, he loved doing that. He loved planting them.
My grandfather was always a cigar, a black and mild cigar,
Oh.
and a glass of scotch on the rocks.
Hey, hey.
Yeah.
I
There
think
you
we
go.
had the same
He always
grandpa.
had Cheez-Its. And I would eat the Cheez-Its in his big leather chair and watch Inspector Gadget.
Oh. That's a good memory. What about you, Christine?
I don't really have any that I can think of right now.
Your dad was a Navy guy.
He was a Marine.
Oh, shit.
But,
Sorry.
I don't really have any things like, I don't
Tacos. You had tacos with your dad.
Was taco a tradition? Having tacos a tradition on Memorial Day?
Oh, no, not Memorial Day. I thought we were just talking about traditions in general.
Yeah,
no.
sure.
Yeah, I don't have any Memorial Day traditions that make me think of someone that was passed. Yeah, it's just been another reason to barbecue.
Agreed. I know, and I smelled a lot of barbecue today
Yeah.
out in the garden. I'm like, oh, everybody's cooking. I'm working in the garden, but I like it. So, Todd, what public tradition do you think still matters?
Parades. I like parades.
We had a parade here.
Yeah. The band, the marching band.
Yeah.
I love it.
Our local high school, they, do the parade. When I was in high school, I did the parade too. And then here in town in DeWitt, they march down to the cemetery. And then they go down to where the veterans are buried. And they do a really lovely thing down there. And I love that. I hope that never stops. All right, we're going to move on for our Woman of the Week. And I want to honor someone many people have probably never heard of. And her name is Mary Ann Williams of Columbus, Georgia. To be honest, I didn't even know there was a Columbus, Georgia.
I did not know either.
We know now. Now, Mary Ann Williams was connected to the Ladies Memorial Association of Columbus, and in 1866, she wrote a letter calling for a specific day to decorate the graves of Civil War dead with flowers. And the National Cemetery Administration credits her with helping originate the idea of an annual Memorial Day style observance. Her letter was published in March of 1866, and the chosen date was April 26, 1866. And what makes her story so interesting is that this wasn't about fame. It wasn't about a national brand. It wasn't a social media campaign. It was a woman looking at the aftermath of war and saying, essentially, we cannot let these graves go unmarked. We cannot let grief become invisible. Now, her story also sits inside a complicated post-Civil War context because the early Decoration Day traditions had different meanings in different regions, and some Southern memorial associations later became tied to Confederate memory and lost cause narratives. So we have to hold both truths. Marianne Williams helped shape a national practice of remembrance, and the history around that remembrance is complicated. That makes her a powerful Woman of the Week, not because the story is simple, but because it shows how women often became the keepers of public memory, for better, for worse, and sometimes both at once. Her impact is still visible every time someone places flowers, flags, or a hand on a gravestone and chooses not to let the name disappear. Because remembrance often begins with ordinary people doing something small, human, and repeated until it becomes tradition. All right, now before we get into our recommendations, let's bring back our official round robin spin scale. So as a reminder, 1 spin, only if you're bored, 2 background noise, 3 solid watch, 4 highly recommend, and 5 drop everything and spin immediately. All right, who's up?
My round robin recommendation is, it's an oldie but a goodie. It's There's Something About Mary with Ben Stiller. I love this movie so much, and I can watch it anytime. It's funny, it's got dark humor, crude humor, stuff that just generally makes you feel uncomfortable, and I gotta give it 4 spins at least, because I will almost always be in the mood for watching that movie.
It never gets old, and it does deal with a lot. You have mentally handicapped.
Yeah.
You have black and white couples.
Yeah.
You have stalkers.
Stalkers.
It kind of gets it all in one big bundle.
Yeah.
And it's hysterical.
You have dogs, old ladies. It's got everything.
Yeah.
It's a cornucopia of comedy.
Agreed. It's a good one. And I agree with you. All right, ladies.
All right, we're gonna do Ladies First. It's a movie. It is on Netflix. And how they describe it, the overview they give, is that it's about a male chauvinist that's transported to a flip side world. It's a matriarchal society facing challenges from a formidable female version of himself. So basically, he hits his head and he goes into an alternate universe where they describe it as a matriarchal society, but I beg to differ that translation. It was more like they put him into a misandrist society. So it was like, it was the flip, it was the upside down
women
of
treated
patriarchy.
men like men treat women now.
Yes, but
Love
that's
it.
not how patriarchal society
That is
actually
not
runs.
technically what patriarchy is.
So the only problem I found with it was that they were misinterpreting matriarchal society, because actually the end result is what a matriarchal society would be, is when everybody's equal and everybody works together and everybody realizes that there's good on both sides, and if you work together, it's bliss. But it was hysterical, and it was really actually pretty on point to see the drasticness of when you're seeing characters be misogynistic like that, but misandristic. I can't even say that word that way. But like, you know, misandry is the opposite of misogyny. So it was very misogynistic version of the women degrading the men around them.
Right.
It was interesting as all get out to watch that though play out. Like, we all talk about it. We're like, could you imagine if that would happen to a man? But to watch it in the movie was priceless. So I'm giving it 4.5 spins.
But like the crazy part is that it's all experiences that women have experienced.
Yes.
That men don't experience because they're the ones that are doing it. So it really gave him like a better perspective on exactly how that makes women feel. So it was like
I loved it.
Put yourself, walk in your own shoes, but it be, uncomfortable for you type of situation.
So when he came out of his head trauma, was he a changed man?
Yes.
I love it. Ladies first.
It was really
Sounds like a good show. We should watch it.
Watch it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to watch it. Ladies first. I even remembered it that fast, which is unusual. All right, and my recommendation is going to fit the theme for today, and it's called Taking Chance, and this is a 2009 HBO film starring Kevin Bacon. I love Kevin. Now, he plays Lieutenant Colonel Michael Strobel, who volunteers to escort the body of a fallen Marine, Lance Corporal Chance Phelps. He's got to get him home. It is not a war action movie. It is about dignity, ritual, silence, service, and the way strangers pause when they understand what is passing in front of them. Now, it's currently streaming, like I said, on HBO Max, or you can rent it on Amazon Video, Apple TV, and Fandango at home. And we're going to give this 5 spins because it's, again, it's not a casual background movie. It's one with feeling and meaning, and it's one that's going to sit with you. As I said, it's quiet, respectful, emotional, and deeply connected to the meaning of Memorial Day. So if you're looking for explosion, wartime action, this ain't the movie for you. If you're looking for a film that reminds you what honor, dignity, and remembrance actually looks like, Taking Chance earns every single spin. All right, so that's our show for you, everyone. I hope everyone had a fantastic Memorial, beginning of summer, long weekend. So thank you, everyone, and we will see you all back on Friday for F-Bomb. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Au revoir, mes amis.
Adios.
Adios, amigos.